It'll pop up. It'll say,
We are live. Hi, it's Phil Cowan, morning host at AM 1380, The Answer. And I'm here with my buddy Tom Daves of eXp Realty, the best agent in the region. And Tom, I know a lot of people think that this market is just still booming. It's going great guns. And certainly, for a lot of people it is. But as you know, I watch real estate all the time in a variety of different markets. And it's been my sense a little bit that things have started to cool off, not a lot, but just a little. Is that, am I missing something, or is it actually going that way?
100%. It's a little bit of seasonal cooling, Phil. Quite honestly, this last summer, a lot of people were traveling. I mean, I heard that this summer was the second most traveled in 30 years. So, of course, when things opened up and people were out traveling, of course, then we do see a little bit of slowing. But the market is still super active. With the low interest rates, they're still between 2.5% and 3%, which is still fueling the market. We're still getting a lot of Bay Area buyers that are moving here. So we're still seeing a very brisk market. We're not seeing the crazy, 20, 30 multiple offers, 50, $100,000 over list price bidding wars. We're getting a single or a double or a triple. We're getting, one, two, or three offers on a property that's priced right. And we're getting a more sustainable 4 to 5% appreciation, which we should see, which is sustainable. And we should see that going into next year.
Well, I think in this market, Tom, a lot of people were operating from an assumption that it doesn't matter who I get to list my home. Everything is selling and it's selling for above list. But you and I both know that wasn't true for everybody. Even when the market was at its hottest, there were still homes that sat.
100%. And there's a lot of, online, there's Zillow, there's Open Door, there's Redfin, there's, all of these online sources. But a real estate transaction is extremely complicated. It's complex. There's a lot of details. It's emotional and it's litigious, possibly. So it really takes a professional to really handle the transactions so things go smoothly. Yes, someone can, pop their home on the MLS and maybe get a bunch of offers, but to actually get it closed is another story.
Well, and that's why even in a market like this, you don't want a fly-by-night operator or somebody who's new to the business. You need the best guidance you can get.
100%.
That's why I tell people to call you, Tom.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, and I really say there's three things that are tantamount. It's extremely important to have an agent that does great marketing. Anything from the staging to the photos to the details to the photos, which are amazing, and then the online nuances. And then number two is the negotiating. It's extremely important to negotiate the highest and best price within the right time. And then the third is just the ability to get the job done. So, the market is still hot and it's still exciting.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And, I think another thing, and you mentioned it a moment ago, homes that are priced right, that's where experience in the business comes into play. It is making sure that when your home goes on the market, it is at a price point that doesn't scare people off and will attract more attention.
Absolutely. In fact, right now, that's one of the reasons that we're seeing an increase in inventory is so many sellers have gotten a little bit greedy and they're asking too much for their home. And that, of course, increases the inventory and it allows actually more options for the buyers. So you really definitely do have to have it priced right. 100%.
Well, I have noticed that in markets that I look at all across the West, you see a lot of prices coming down now after a house has been on the market for a week or two. And speaking of other markets, it seems like most of the success stories we're hearing about in the Tom Daves world right now. You mentioned Bay Area buyers coming to this area. Folks in this area are leaving California.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I read a statistic that over 50% of Californians are considering moving out of state.
Yeah.
And
It's happening a lot. And for somebody who's selling their home here, they list with Tom Daves. And of course, you'll do a great job, as you always do. What do they do at the other end?
well, you know, first, I just wanted to share. Someone asked the other day, why are so many people moving out of state? Well, there's a number of reasons. I mean, number one is just the high cost of living here. California is an expensive place to live. Number two is the rising state taxes. Now they're up to 13.3% here in the Golden State, and there's a proposal of 17%. Plus, you know, the political reasons. We don't need to get into that, but they're definitely out there for sure. Number four is the unemployment. Number five is housing. I mean, not only is it an expensive place to rent, but it's also very expensive, you know, to buy. The median price in California is $811,000 now, which and then, you know, also there's the homeless. Unfortunately, California has more homeless than any other state. And then plus also number six is just the convenience of working from home. The pandemic has really allowed people to work wherever, whenever they can work from their homes. So that frees people up to move across state. And then, you know, unfortunately also, and then number seven is the devastating wildfires. A lot of people want to move away because we've had, you know, the wildfires and the smoke, which is kind of scary. So people are moving to, you know, Texas, Arizona, you know, Nevada, Washington, South Carolina, all over. So it's just, you know, it's crazy right now.
I don't think I've ever seen it quite like this. What's your advice to somebody who, say, is moving to South Carolina and they got you to list their home and you did a wonderful job? How do I get somebody as good as Tom Daves at the other end of my move?
Well, great question. So, I mean, the short answer is, you know, there's really, you know, we have a 6-step process to go through that. You know, number one is seek out a professional to really identify the value of your home. So then you know what you're working with financially, as well as getting your loan pre-approved. And then number two is find the location that you want to move to. I recommend to find 3 locations. Go ahead and visit those to make sure they match your lifestyle, your price point, and the family and the weather that you enjoy. Number 3 is connect with a professional in that other state. And we have professionals in every state in the country to really connect to help them look at homes and find a home that they love. And then number 4 is just plan, you know, put together a plan that coordinates all of your timelines, that really ties all of the details together. Next is prepare your home on the market, you know, whether it means it's staging or preparing or inspections, landscaping, get your home prepped properly. And then the last one, number 6, is sell your home and consummate the sale of the new home that you're purchasing. That way, it'll make it a very smooth move.
Well, it is still a very interesting real estate market. And for anybody who, if you're ready to sell your home or if you just have questions to ask about this market, I cannot urge you strongly enough. Call my friend Tom Daves. I believe the number is still 855 TOMDAVES. Is it not?
That's correct. 855 Tom Daves. 100%.
Give him a call today. Ask your questions. And trust me, you will be in the best hands you can be. Tom, it's always a pleasure, buddy.
Thanks. Good to see you, Phil. Have a good day.
You too.